Hotels and Motels Private Limited and Historic Resorts Hotels Private Limited. A passionate advocate for education, sustainability and youth empowerment, Dr. Lakshyaraj Singh Mewar is also a board member of School News and patron of the School News Global Ed Fest and a powerful voice for community-driven change. Deeply committed to social causes, he leads impactful campaigns in education, health and the environment, inspiring the region's progress through tradition and vision. Please join me in warmly welcoming Shriji Dr. Lakshyaraj Singh Mewar of Udaipur on stage.
My greetings, pranams, namaskar, vanakkam, as they would say in this part of the world, Honorable Minister for Education, Principal Secretaries, other dignitaries who are present here this morning, teachers, learned colleagues, friends, people from the press and media, and of course, man behind the show, Ravi. As I walked into the auditorium, to be very honest, whenever they talk about certain events in life, and especially the ones that are going to be taking place for the first time, you expect that there are going to be few people, it's going to be scattered, it's an educator's event where everybody is educated, and there are not going to be very many people who are going to be there. It may not start on time. These are some of the excess baggages that people have in their mind, at least jokers like me who are walking into a conference for the first time, and that too that is taking place in southern India. This is the power of education. I think the message here that goes out so strongly, the first thing is when you start assuming, there are very few spellings I know in English. And anyway, English isn't my greatest strength either. English is like my friends. It's very strong, but I have no control over it. So I will certainly try my best, and I hope I get the message across. But this is where one of the first few strong messages that go through, that when you start assuming things in life, I really don't know the full spelling of assume, but I certainly know the first 3 alphabets of it. For the ones who are backbenchers like me, need to take a bit of time, that's okay. So this is what it ends up making you when you start assuming. And when we don't leave things behind, or when we don't leave a single stone unturned in pointing fingers at someone, I think it is time when history is being created, it must be uploaded. And I think I applaud the Tamil Nadu government, I applaud Ravi Satlani, I applaud each and every educator that is present here to come and make this event into a grand success, and actually by action and not just by mere words, say that we are here today to make a difference because we care about the future of our country, we care about the future of our state. Education for me predominantly has been a very volatile journey, in more ways than one. When the journey began, as I've already mentioned to you that I was a backbencher in life, and about 30 years ago, 35 years ago, things were very simple and very uncomplicated. If you didn't study, take them to the bathroom round the corner, give them a few tight whacks and bring them back. And that would perhaps take care of the journey and his lack of learning skills. When you didn't know a spelling and when you were tried to, be taught a spelling, because all what you had to do was mug. And a few tight slaps kind of did the job. But from there today, the journey to where we are, and what I heard, the lovely 2 people who first came up on stage and talked about education, that the idea here is not to react. We are not here to react to education. We are here to respond towards education. When we stop reacting towards things and when we start responding towards things, we will start making a difference on the ground. And I think a journey of the 1,000 miles, as they say, begins with that first step. And I think that first step was taken exceptionally in a concrete manner with a great vision in mind, and which says very clearly, because when we come into this world, especially the world of learning, the idea is just not to go through life. People are just going through life, or students are being made to go through life. But the idea is not to just go through life, but the idea is to grow through life. And this is where you see in this hall that growth is actually taking place. And that is what is exceptionally important towards education. The other thing that we get caught up with, or students get caught up with, is the idea of proving. Everybody here is interested in proving with that certificate of participation that yes, we went there and we've received something, and we have to prove to the rest of the world, we have to prove to society, we have to prove to our parents, we have to prove to our teachers, and so on and so forth. But I think what learning shows very clearly, or education shows very clearly, that the idea in life is never to prove, but the idea is to improve. And I think that can only happen through growth, through proper education, through learning, and when we are not just going through life, but actually just growing through life. One thing I certainly say, when I see all these educators here, it does, for me personally, feel like my chemistry and biology and physics examinations have come together and I've prepared for something else. But nevertheless, I will still take the opportunity to be able to express a feeling, and I think no better platform and no better state to be able to say this in, because I'm sure it is going to be received with the utmost respect, and the sentiment is meant from exactly that same very base. All the educators that are here, all the teachers that are present here this morning, you could have chosen to do anything in life, and I'm not here to criticize other professions, but it's important to mention something, and I think freedom of speech, being able to express and to say thank you and to put out that gratitude, I think is exceptionally important. If you chose another profession, for example, I'm a person who does business. If I made a few wrong decisions in business, it would impact only a few people and mostly me. Subsequently, some other professions, they took certain decisions, their impact would be very restricted, either for the good or for the bad. But the profession that all of you today are sitting in is not impacting just a few people, it's impacting generations, and it is building nations. So I think it is the 2-3 people also who are clapping, I would also suggest that you don't, because it feels like as if, the entire pressure is only on those 4 people, But anybody who needs to thank for constructive building of human resource, of generations, of the generations to come, and especially in a country like India, which is today emerging as one of the youngest countries in the whole world, as we have one of the youngest populations, here is where the responsibility of all the educators that are present increases that much more, because we are just not building or having an impact on a certain number of people, but you are having an impact on the future of our country. So I thank you from all the young that are present, who are still learning, are to learn, are going through this particular process, and the hard work, the effort that you put into them to bring them out. I realized that not too long ago, one of my teachers in school was retiring after 40 years of teaching. And I got a call from the school very oddly after me 20-25 years of passing, which did make me feel very young. But and they said, do you remember so-and-so teacher, Mr. Pramod Chaturvedi? I said, yes, of course. He said, he's now retiring after 40 years and he has asked specifically for you to come on the day of his retirement. I said, great, thank you so much. Very kind, very obliged. I said all the right P's and Q's, put down the phone, got to the school. And when I got there and I asked, where are the other colleagues? Where are some of the other friends? Where are some of the other students? And in my mischievous mind, I was very keen to know where were those 95% students, I was wondering and looking for in the audience of where those 90% students are, or the so-called 100% students and above 9. And we were people who were just literally above that 33% mark, If we get any more than that, we perhaps would have had a DNA test at home. Does he belong to us or is he, So we made sure we were true to spirit and blood, that we got enough just to pass. And then I went and asked my professor. I said, sir, where are those 90%ers? You only beat us you only slapped us, you put us in front of the class and you're calling only people like, or jokers like us who would always, creating trouble for you. He said, those are the only people who would stand by you in your difficult times or when you actually need someone. And I guess that has perhaps, as a student for me, or as a human being for me, has been my greatest learning. In 40 years, how many thousands of students did that teacher must have gone through or must have taught? But having to be remembered out of that, I think that is the true learning, and that is the power that educators actually have. And I think as a culture, as a country, and the school that I studied in as well, which I was very fortunate, but as a culture, there are certain things that I do want to mention, that people from different parts of the world, from different backgrounds, get labeled very differently. And I think here we understand the fact that there are certain people who may not want to bring education forward. So this is where I want to be able to bust a myth till a large extent. The family has been associated with education now for some time. And when I say some time, it's interesting to understand the fact that because people feel that they may not want to promote education. So it is interesting, something perhaps that you may not be expecting or may know. And this is the information that I definitely want to put out there. It's not for the last 25 years we're involved with education, or the last 50 years, or 75 years, or 100 years, or 125 years. I'm so happy to share one of the first girl child schools that was opened in 1864 by one of my ancestors there in Udaipur. And it's still existent even today. And with a lot of pride and joy, I say that the education of all those few hundred girls is still taken care of by our foundation, which is the Maharana of Mewar Charitable Foundation. Now that is true strength to the nation, to the coming generations, to building our country and building our future. Once again, I would like to thank Ravi, the Minister of Education, and all the educators here. I hope it wasn't too much of a torture and you didn't suffer me too much, but it's been a pleasure to be in South India. Thank you so much, and I look forward to seeing you all again soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Sir, may I please request you to stay back on stage. I invite Mr. Ravi Santlani, Ms. Prabha Dikshit, and Dr. Prem Shankar to please felicitate, sir. Thank you, sir, for those powerful and inspiring words. As we now approach the keynote address by the Honorable Minister of School Education, Anbil Mahesh Poyyamozhi, may I please request everyone to turn their attention to the screens for a short video that introduces his remarkable journey.
Standing tall in the footsteps of Kalingar, uplifting education and shaping a new era. This is the Dravidian model government led by our Honorable Chief Minister, Thiru Muthuvel Karunanidhi Stalin. Through 70 groundbreaking initiatives, the Department of School Education, Tamil Nadu, has strengthened the educational framework and scripted a new chapter in Tamil Nadu history.
Our Chief Minister believes that financial constraints should not be a barrier for our athletes.
Guided by a minister whose leadership inspires teachers, whose tireless efforts enrich students' knowledge, educational excellence blossoms across Tamil Nadu through reviews in all 234 constituencies and consultations with headmasters in 38 districts. Rooted in virtue, science and life skills, Tamil soil has nurtured a unique education policy that molds our students for a brighter tomorrow.
மீண்டும் சொல்றேன், இருமொழி கொள்கை தான் நம்முடைய உறுதியான கொள்கை.
The education policy should respect the constitutional federalism.
With a noble vision of everything for everyone, the Dravidian model government has built a stage where even students of private schools can rise to reach the peak of achievement. A land where love and knowledge unite, where virtue alone leads to greatness, where students soar through enlightened thought. This is the arena where minds grow and futures shine.
We are not very concerned only on Tamil Nadu students. Our concern is for the entire nation.
We're honored to have with us a visionary leader who has been redefining the future of education in Tamil Nadu, Thiru Anbil Mahesh Poyyamozhi.
Good morning, everyone. Let me start with some of the words from our Thiruvalluvar. Idanil Parvathum Uppiravirukku Ulgar Kadanari Kaatchiyavar. The explanation for this couplet by our tallest leader, Muthamalinger Kalaignar. Thamidam valam நீங்கி வறுமை வந்தற்ற காலத்திலும் பிறருக்கு உதவிடும் ஒப்புரவில் தளராதவர் கடமையுணர்ந்த தகைமையாளர். Explanation in English is, the wise who know what is duty will not scant their benevolence even when they are without wealth. I thank Ravi and team, and I thank each and every educationist from different parts of India. And my special thanks to Dr. Lakshyaraj. I don't know what I'm going to speak after. She gave a very commendable speech here. And I thank all the press and media here. I welcome each and everyone to the land of social justice. We didn't attain this land of social justice just within 5 years or 10 years. We have more than 100 to 200 years of history. We defied the authority, we break through the restrictions, and we build this land, social justice land. The battle is not just for the freedom to speak. The battle is for the freedom to exist sometimes, freedom to live. Being recognized as a human being. But Tamil Nadu having most of the tallest leaders starting from Sarpeti Tyagarajar, Nadesh Sanar, T.M. Nair, Thandai Periyar, Peraringer Anna, Muthamalinger Kalaignar, on this, our Honorable Chief Minister, Muthavel Karunanidhi Stalin. Under his leadership, after I took this opportunity as a school education minister in 2021, we all know about the pandemic situation, which is very challenging, not only for Tamil Nadu, this is for the whole globally. So we are in the urge of asking our Honorable Chief Minister, like, when are we going to open the schools? Because like almost in the pandemic situation, more than 2 years, almost our students, even our teachers, they are out of the education system. Then our Honorable Chief Minister said, instead of opening the schools immediately, let us fill the gaps that happened because of the pandemic in the last 2 years. So in the whole India, Tamil Nadu is the first state which introduced Illam Thedi Kalvi, which is nothing but education at the doorstep. Each and every volunteers, each and every teachers, they go to each and every children's house or some common places in their habitat. And they started teaching. Because of that, the foundational literacy and numeracy of our Tamil Nadu School Education Department has improved a lot. The transformation, because we know the difference between what is the movement and the progress. We are progressing because of our Honorable Chief Minister's ideas. After we opened the schools in full-fledged, in 2022 Jan, we introduced Ennum Ezhuthum scheme, which focuses mainly on the languages like English, Tamil, and also some of the portions of mathematics. Our Tamil Nadu School Education Department always used to self-assess them, because whenever we introduce some of the schemes, we need to know whether it has reached the ground level, whether the scheme impacts any kind of transformation, any kind of results. So in such a case, like last year, because you know about some of the findings from some of the agents, they used to say, Tamil Nadu government should focus on this area, that area. They should focus on third standard students. They should focus on physics, because this report is saying like that. But we never defy that. Sometimes we used to see really what happens in the result. And the very first time, our state level achievement survey done by our State Development Planning Council, the sample is almost 980,000 students and 342 students here actually. Almost 3rd standard, 5th standard and 8th standard students. We took a sample of 20 students from each class in 3rd standard and 5th standard, and a sample of 30 students from 8th standard. So in this almost in 980,000, we found the blocks to be improved in each and every district of Tamil Nadu. As a minister, after getting the report, almost the 3 months, I covered all the 38 districts, and I have word with each and every HMs of the schools. And after seeing them, but each and every person, all are human beings. The only thing everybody needs, everybody expects is the acknowledgement, appreciation. So in that review meeting, I didn't accuse anyone. I didn't point out and I didn't say like, you have done this mistake, you have to correct yourself. But I motivate them. I want to make them feel like I am one among them, because I know each and every teachers, non-teaching staffs, parents and students, practically what they are facing in their areas. Because each and every district has its own sentiment. Each and every district has its, even in each and every union, different from other unions. While we are talking about this, like Lakshyaraj Singh was telling, and even I think Shiksha Dutt and Raubal Tuli, and they are telling about what is the difference between NEP and SEP, and we are telling, like they said, rightly said, this one size fits all, it never work out. So how each and every district in Tamil Nadu has its own sentiment. Each and every state in India has its own sentiment, their language pride, their culture. So let the government which frames this NEP first gives importance to the sentiment of each and every state. The language, the culture, and what are the practice we are doing, it's not an obstacle for the development. It is a foundation for the development. Let them have that idea. So here, people used to talk, they want to look about what Nordic model is talking about, what East Asian education model is talking about. Please look on the southern side also. Tamil Nadu, we are here. We are ready to give lot of schemes because right now we know the flagship program of our Honorable Chief Minister, the very first time in India, globally, morning breakfast scheme. Now it has been followed by London, Canada and Sri Lanka and other parts of our India. So we are very clear on our side. Not only that, in almost in this 4.5 years, we are going to complete after a change in government. Almost our Honorable Chief Minister, he has given 70 path-breaking schemes for the education department. And as everybody was talking about, our school education, our Tamil Nadu school education, gave 3 directors for ISRO. They have spearheaded the Chandrayaan mission. If you talk about Abdul Kalam, Narayanan sir, and even each and everyone, they are the product of Tamil Nadu education system. That's why they are talking about the Samachir Kalvi. And you know about the technology adoption. Like almost 22,931 elementary schools, we now implemented the smart boards in each and every schools. That's why in our SCP, because we have a scheme called STEM, Science, Technology, Engineering, Mathematics. But in SCP, we included one more letter A. That's a STEAM. The A stands for arts. So here, the welcome dance by the Abhay group, I appreciate on each and every groups of and my children's. So the art is going to play a vital role in education. And coming November 17th, I have my own Viva. I am doing a PhD. That is on the physical activity. In Trichy, I am going to defend my thesis. That is for the physical activity for skill development among school children through machine learning technology. So in our state education policy, we are talking about the language policy, like rightly said, each and everyone, their own mother tongue should be the identity and English should be for the opportunity. So here, in SCP, we talk about the language policy. In SCP, we talk about the future 6 skills in terms of technology, because already we have introduced TN Spark. Tamil Nadu is the only state which made a MOU with the Microsoft in the name of TEALS program. And almost we train lot of teachers. They should adapt the technology in future and they should teach and each and every students in there. Mainly we are focusing on the education backward block. So I'm so happy like having all the educations from different parts of India. And Ravi, I once again thank Ravi, you should not stop with Tamil Nadu. Let it go through other northern part of India also. I'm ready to come and I'm ready to talk with them also, how we are doing. See, first of all, we are not against any languages. I always used to say, let us learn all the 22 languages, official languages mentioned in our constitutional. But there is a difference between a compulsion and option, right? See, if I want, I can learn it from my Google search. ChatGPT is there. If I want to go to any other countries, but I don't know the language, I can have my phone. Technology is there. If I want to translate, I can ask my phone and I can talk to them. But here the issue is only on the compulsion. As we know, our neighboring state, when they made the third language as a compulsion, we know what happened to their 10th result, we know what happened to their other grade results. Okay, I don't want to compare that here in front of you, but if it is going to be a compulsion, as that 2 YouTubers, they were talking, right? Going to a gym and one person, if he's finding it difficult to lift a 10 kg, the gym coach is coming and telling him, no, are you finding it difficult to lift a 10 kg? Try for 20 kg. It's kind of that. So here, when you make it as a compulsion and telling you have to score, you have to pass in that language, then only you will be moving to the other grade. Just think about that. Doing my 10th standard, my mother tongue, Tamil and English is more than enough for me. And if you are going to give a Sanskrit, or if you are going to a German, or if you are going to give Hindi, if I'm going to fail in that one and I'm going to secure 100 out of 100 in Tamil, I'm going to secure 100 out of 100 in mathematics, if I'm going to secure 98 in science, and if I'm going to secure 95 in accountancy or computer science, anything, and telling, no, you have failed in Hindi, so you need to be back in that 10th standard, means how come it can happen? So this is the main thing, like we are focusing and we are giving the awareness to each and other state. That's why I told, this is not a concern of Tamil Nadu, this is a concern of each and every state in India. So we are the first state always used to voice out this kind of freedom for each and every state. I won't say that, but Dr. Lakshyaraj was telling about, whenever he used to point out himself, telling about jokers like us, it's not jokers. What he meant is, he is the person who has the potential to make job for others, opportunity for others, knowledge through education, and from education that impacts to the rationalism. That is the meaning of joker. So I always, you should have that, Lakshyaraj ji, and others from different parts of India. Let us feel free to talk here, because our Tamil Nadu state is a state which welcomes ideas from each and every part. Don't have any restrictions. If you want to talk anything, you can talk here. Suppose if you are going to get any idea from that, we are the first state ready to implement that idea in our state, and which is going to be the example for other states. And I once again thank our Ravi, because Ravi, yesterday I was going through the volume 9 of your Q News magazine. That one teacher in that magazine stated, like how he sees the schools. He sees the schools as a temple, and he sees each and every children as his own god and goddesses. So that kind of mentality should be there for each and every teachers throughout the world. Thank you. Thanks.
Yeah. Sir, may I please request you to come on stage? And I request Mr. Ravi Santlani, Ms. Prabha Dikshit, and Dr. Prem Shankar to felicitate sir. இவர் அமைச்சராக இருக்கும் காலம் கல்வித்துறையின் பொற்காலம் என்று நம் முதல் அமைச்சரால் பாராட்ட
लक्षराज सिंह मेवाड़ ने बता दिया है कि रॉयल्टी जो है वो अनटचेबल नहीं है, वो बिल्कुल जैसा आपने कहा सौम्या कि आम आदमी की तरह है, और वो कितने सामान्य हैं, कितने विनम्र हैं और किस तरह से जनता के बीच में रह के जनता के व्यक्ति की तरह बात करते हैं। अब इनसे ये पूछा जाए क्या इनका राजनीति में जाने का इरादा है?
We are honored to welcome a man who beautifully blends heritage with hope. Shriji Dr. Lakshyaraj Singh Mewar Udaipur, the 77th custodian of the 1500-year-old house of Mewar, upholds the world's oldest continuing royal lineage.